How you doing? It's Blackie from Mad Baits here. Been asked to do a little bit about my fishing over the past year. My fishing's changed massively. Previously, I'm still in the Colne Valley, but previously I was on the Church Lake on the Horton Complex, and I've moved over to the Island Lake, or Kingsmead 2 as it's known, which is sort of a 65 acre lake where majority of the swims are on islands central to the lake, and everything is boat work. And the difference between fishing somewhere like the Church to the island is massive. Everything needs to be changed. So you're fishing sometimes 130, 150, 170 yards in some situations to big 8, 12 ounce leads to combat undertow, and different things like that. Now obviously fishing ranges like that, there's certain things you need to do to ensure you're angling in an effective manner. Braid is an absolute must. As soon as you get over sort of 120, 130 yards, your indication's horrendous. So braid with decent sort of 20, 25 pound fluoro leaders. Lead wise, anything from 8 to 12 ounces. Rigs very much the same as what you would use given the situation, depending on the bottom that you're fishing on. The difference with a boat is you can be directly over your spot. Now I use an aquascope, which is basically a glass bottom bucket, over the side of the boat. Keep an eye on your spots, and you can place your rigs perfectly by hand, making sure that everything is absolutely perfect. Now given the type of water it is, when you place those rigs, you want to know 100% that they're placed correctly and that they're going to stay where you need them, and especially if you're fishing a pop-up, such as the Mad pop-ups, which are just crazy, the longevity you'll get with them staying popped up. I've got the confidence using them on the Island Lake that I can leave them 2 or 3 days in the same place, and I don't have to worry about you know, if they're listed over, which I've had happen previously with other pop-ups I've used. Boat fishing changes your kit a lot. I've gone from fishing 13 foot 3 3/4 test curve rods down to little 9 foot 3.5 pound test curve rods. Obviously using a motor, a battery, occasionally an echo sounder. The Island Lake is sort of averages between sort of 16 to 18, 20 foot in places, and it's generally 15 to 16 foot deep in weed. It's a real challenge. Part of that, you've got to find holes and you've got to find spots within the weed, which is what I've been doing. From starting on the lake to how I'm fishing it now, I started fishing nut baits as I had been on the Church, and fishing in a similar way, and watching the way the fish were feeding and watching the areas that they were feeding. It was obvious that naturals formed a massive part of their diet, and I swapped from the nut baits onto more of a fish meal bait, which was the Asbo. Watching the fish feed on certain spots, it was obvious they're not that keen on whole baits. So I spent a lot of time changing my approach, fishing micro salmon fry crumb pellet in amongst chopped up Asbo with a few whole baits, dropping down to the 6mm baits that we do that not a lot of other manufacturers make, and 10mm baits, and using them in amongst those small spots within the weed is what's produced me so far this year. I'm up to about 18 fish, up to 40 pound 11 ounces, and a couple of backup 30s on that as well. The Island Lake has sort of a very heavy stock of sort of mid 20 to upper 20 pound fish, and to get to those bigger fish you have to kind of pile your way through them, but the fishing is on there is a real challenge. It's something completely different, and it's an adventure, and I love that style of fishing. I'll be on there for the next probably another couple of years or so. The big one in there, Royds, that recently came out at 61 pound 3 to a lad called Ed on the lake, and that's a British 60. It's something we all aspire to achieve, and I know using Mad baits I've got the confidence that the bait will do the business.